This is Miru in 5 minutes. Miru is a solo tabletop RPG by Hinokodo, and I think it might be my favorite solo RPG. I had so much fun playing this. I played it on stream, and I have some videos posted if you want to see what it's like. This game is fantastic. Imagine we're like about 100 years in the future. Your brother was just killed by a robot, and you've decided to kill God. That's the premise of Miru. Basically, far future, the robots have kind of taken over a lot of the menial tasks of our life, but it also seems like they've kind of taken over everything. And through an accident of some kind, your brother gets killed, and you decide, I'm going to just take out these robots, and I'm going to kill the robot god that's responsible for all of this. That alone should sell you on the game. But if you want to know a little bit more, let me explain how this game works. It's a solo tabletop RPG, so you play it by yourself. It's a little different than other solo RPGs if you're used to like journaling games. There's an element of journaling you can do if you want, but more so, it's about building a map. Now, here's an example map that's in the back. It's way more artistic and beautiful than the map that I drew while I was playing the game. But how it works is you have a blank hex map, and every day on the calendar, there's like a 55-day calendar, you choose a tile to move into. When you move into new tiles, you do a couple of rolls to figure out what kind of terrain it is. Like, is it a grassland, a forest, mountains, etc.? And then you also figure out if there's anything going on there. Each of these different types of terrain have different outcomes. So there could be a village there that you could go shopping in and get quests. There could be events that are going on. And these are just sort of like one and done little prompts that you read, and then you get something, or maybe sometimes you have to make a decision and then you flip to a page to see what happens, like a choose your own adventure. Others are encounters where you then have to actually fight something. And we'll get into the fighting in just a second, but that's how you explore the world. You move one tile at a time, exploring it. And each move is like a day, essentially. And you track the progress of your experience hunting God across a calendar. Um, and in these events, like I said, it's a lot of like you're reading it and you're experiencing something. You might get some supplies, you might get some new gear and things like that. And sometimes you fight. Fighting in this game is great. It works really simply. Basically, enemies always go first. You roll a die to see how much damage they're going to do, and then they just do that much damage to you minus whatever your defense is. It's just flat. It's just happening. It is what it is. You, on the other hand, fight back. You choose the weapons that you have. You have these cool powers that you learn that like you kind of like do like a quick duck and roll and then slice the robot sort of thing. And you're not good at doing them at first, but the more you use them and play, you train yourself in them and you get better and better and better. And that's kind of the goal, is to get better and better and better before you eventually fight the god, right? Because if you go try and fight a robot god on day one, you're going to die. You have to somehow get better. You have to improve your odds of success. So you're moving around the map, you're finding new gear, you're finding new weapons. Along the way, the calendar has marked these certain like god events. These days when you know something bad is going to happen, or something important is going to happen to the map that tells you a lot about the god. You might find a new location, you might confront something. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I love that the calendar has these specific days that you know you're working towards. And in the time between those days, you're moving around trying to find quests, you're trying to find new gear, you're trying to get as much money as you can to go to villages and shop for new stuff. It's like desperately trying to improve yourself as best as possible and learn what the map is all about while the days tick by, knowing that you're eventually going to have to fight God. And I just love it. For me, it's exactly the kind of solo game that I'm looking for. It has a little bit of like chew to it, right? Like it's a little gamey, and I like a good gamey solo game. Journaling games are fun, but I like to like feel like I'm moving pieces around the board. I feel like I'm doing things, and it was really fun, even though my artistic skills are terrible, to slowly fill in my map and see what my world looked like. And I was starting to see these sort of patterns, like, oh, there's like a mountain range over here, and oh, there seems to be like a lot of swamps over here. And I would have memories looking at this map of the various times, like, oh, that's when I went into the mountains and a growler bear, which is a grizzly polar bear hybrid, almost tried to maul me to death. It's unbelievably fun. It's a beautiful game. I love the layout. It's simple but really clean. The art is great. Highly recommend it. And also picking up the Miro 2, which I think is kickstarting right now. There will be links to all this stuff below. But if you're looking for a gamey solo RPG, this is the one I recommend. Until next time, bye.